Hi there, welcome back to DSR Ghostwriting on LinkedIn and YouTube. My name is Daniel Rosal. I'm a freelance writer and ghostwriter based in Jerusalem. For today's video, I wanted to talk about a couple of questions you might want to ask if you're thinking about hiring a ghostwriter to have your book written. Now, I've talked in other videos on this YouTube channel about the pros and cons of using a ghostwriter, whether that's for getting blogs written or whether you're looking at getting a full-length book written. So if you're in the latter category and you're interested in using a ghost to produce a book, then here are a few ideas for questions that it might be a good idea to ask. The first one, and this is kind of obvious, is have you written a book like this before? Now, when it comes to sharing ghostwriting, it's a little bit tricky for ghostwriters sometimes. I mean, whether we're talking about blogs or books, again, it can be difficult because the point of ghostwriting is to basically disguise the writing relationship. So if you hire a ghostwriter who goes and puts that he or she wrote your book on his website, then it's kind of not ghostwriting anymore. So what ghostwriters can often do is they'll provide some excerpts from books. They might provide privately a list of books they previously worked on. And that'll be your way of assessing whether they've worked on similar projects. The second question might be if they've worked on a similar book before. So obviously every writing project for something as long as a book is going to be kind of different. So if you're looking at working with a ghostwriter, it's also probably a good idea to sift through those samples and get a feel for the kind of comfort zone of the ghostwriter if he or she has produced work in the kind of domain you're interested in. Another question is, what's your process? So every writer tends to have their preferred process. Many writers, including me, have preferences for communication methods. Some might like Zoom meetings, some might want to do everything by email. So if you're looking at hiring somebody for as substantial a project as a full-length book, then that's going to be quite a process. So typically a ghostwriter would work with you to look at an outline, draft up chapter outlines, send over the text chapter by chapter, and then edit the manuscript an agreed number of times. So that's a pretty standard process, but it's still worth asking the ghost if there's anything particularly unique about his or her process. Finally, it's a good idea just to clarify exactly what you're paying and exactly what you're getting. So the ghostwriter, after getting a feel for your project, should be able to give you a rough quote. Now, I've talked before on this channel about how ghostwriting is a contracted writing service. Ghostwriting does not mean publishing. When you're paying a ghostwriter money to write your book, you're paying them money to write your book, not to publish your book, not to typeset your book, not to design your book. So these are all little additions. Nevertheless, some ghostwriters do work in tandem with other professionals in the literary world, and they might be able to point you in the directions of people that they do work with, and they might even have some sort of a deal regarding rates, etc. So it's worth talking with your ghost about what you intend doing with the final manuscripts, whether you're going to be going through the traditional publishing route or attempting to, or whether you've got your mind made up that you're going to be self-publishing, in which case ask them if they offer coaching on KDP, Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, or whether they know somebody that does. So guys, this is obviously very, very far from an exhaustive list of questions you might want to ask your book ghostwriter, but I think it should be a good start to get the conversation going in the right direction. If you're interested in learning more about DSR Ghostwriting's book ghostwriting service for nonfiction books, then please feel free to check out my website. That's at dsrghostwriting.com. Thank you for watching.